Imagine feeling like the person you see in the mirror doesn't match who you truly are. Every day, millions of people feel exactly this way because their gender identity doesn't align with what's written on their birth certificate. This experience can be confusing and challenging, and yet, people who go through it often find themselves mislabeled or misunderstood. If you've ever wondered about the terms transgender and transsexual, you're not alone. In fact, a lot of people feel unsure about what these terms mean and which words are respectful to use. Section 1. Defining transgender versus transsexual. At its core, transgender is an umbrella term. It refers to anyone whose gender identity differs from the sex assigned at birth. This means a person might identify as male, female, neither, both, or somewhere in between. On the other hand, transsexual is a term that traditionally referred to people who pursued medical steps, like surgery or hormones, to change their bodies to match their gender identity. Today, though, many people find the term transsexual outdated or even offensive, as it was once used by medical professionals in ways that made people feel labeled or categorized. Now, it's less common and often avoided, except by people who choose it themselves. The language of gender identity is evolving, and respecting this evolution is key to fostering understanding and acceptance. Section 2. Why transgender is an umbrella term. The beauty of the term transgender is that it's inclusive. It doesn't just apply to people transitioning from male to female or female to male. In fact, transgender people can identify as non-binary, gender fluid, or another gender that doesn't conform to society's traditional ideas of male and female. It's a term that encompasses a wide variety of gender identities. For example, non-binary people might feel they are a blend of male and female, or they might not feel connected to either gender. A gender-fluid person's identity might change over time, and others may identify with no gender at all. These identities all fall under the transgender umbrella because each one represents a break from the conventional ideas that society often has about gender. Section 3. Why transsexual isn't an umbrella term. The term transsexual, in contrast, doesn't cover this wide range of identities. Traditionally, transsexual referred to those who underwent gender-affirming procedures like hormones or surgery. Some people in the medical field may still use the term in this specific way, but it doesn't account for all the diverse identities that exist today. Importantly, not everyone wants to or can have these medical procedures, and many people are happy with their identity without any physical changes. That's why transgender is often preferred. It's more inclusive and doesn't imply that medical intervention is a requirement for someone to identify as their true gender. Section 4. The importance of respecting language preferences. Language matters. What you call someone can make a huge difference in how they feel respected and understood. Imagine someone constantly referring to you in a way that doesn't match who you are. It can feel invalidating and even painful. That's why it's essential to ask people what terms they prefer. For some, transgender is empowering, and for others, transsexual might feel right. But assuming one label fits all can lead to discomfort and misunderstandings. It's also essential to avoid outdated and offensive terms. Words like tranny or he/she have been used to hurt people and are considered slurs. Using these terms reinforces harmful stereotypes and can make people feel marginalized. Instead, take the time to learn which words are respectful. Respect starts with simple acts, like asking, "What pronouns do you use?" or "How would you like me to refer to you?" Section 5. How Cism affects the transgender community. Cism is the belief that there are only two genders and that one's gender identity is fixed at birth. This belief often shows up when people insist on calling someone by their birth-assigned gender or question their identity based on how they look. For instance, saying that someone doesn't look male or female enough reinforces the idea that people need to fit certain molds to be valid. In reality, there's no right or wrong way to express gender, and each person has the right to define their identity in the way that feels most authentic to them. One way to challenge cism is to reflect on the questions we ask. For instance, it's inappropriate to ask a cisgender person about their body in a detailed or personal way, so why should it be any different for a transgender person? Remember, respect is about treating people how they want to be treated, not according to outdated expectations. Section 6, Terminology to avoid and why it matters. There are certain terms you should avoid when talking to or about someone who is transgender. Let's go through some of the common ones. Tranny, this is a slur. While some people within the community may reclaim it, it's not a word anyone else should use. He/she, using this term denies a person's identity and disrespects their pronouns. It's a way of saying that a person's self-identified gender doesn't matter. Real name, asking for someone's real name implies that the name they choose isn't legitimate. A person's chosen name is their real name. Inappropriate questions about the body, questions about someone's body, including whether they've had surgery, are private. Remember that a person's body is their own business. Respect that privacy just as you would for anyone else. Section 7, Practical ways to show respect. One of the most meaningful things you can do is ask someone what they prefer to be called, then use that name and those pronouns consistently. If you make a mistake, apologize briefly and correct yourself. It's okay to be human and make errors. What matters is showing respect and a willingness to learn. Another way to show respect is to educate yourself and others about the importance of inclusive language. If someone around you uses a harmful term, kindly offer a respectful alternative. Over time, using thoughtful language helps to build a more inclusive community for everyone. Section 8, Resources for further learning and support. If you'd like to learn more, GLAAD offers a directory of resources for transgender people and allies alike. The Trevor Project also provides an international resource list, which can be helpful for people outside the United States. These organizations provide support, advocacy, and information for transgender people and those who care about them. For those interested in becoming better allies, consider reading about the unique challenges the transgender community faces and how you can help. Listen to people's stories and ask respectful questions. Building knowledge is a powerful way to build empathy, and it can make a positive impact on the lives of transgender individuals. Conclusion. Understanding the differences between transgender and transsexual is about more than definitions, it's about showing people they're seen and respected. Whether someone identifies as transgender, transsexual, non-binary, or any other identity, the best thing we can do is listen and honor their choices. By using respectful language and treating people as they want to be treated, we can help build a world where everyone feels validated and free to be themselves.